Hello, What the Vet fam. I am joining you from my usual place, and Amber is in a random Starbucks parking lot. And the reason I started chuckling is right when she hit record, I was like mentally already myself laughing because I saw the car drive by, and that's when you went,
Slid the computer. I was like,
you're like, mm-mm.
it's been a day, bro.
But on this week's episode, we're going to talk about pay ranges, where they started and where they're at now. And this is across the whole US of A. And I gathered about 20 years worth to get like a good juncture of time to see how much it's changed, right? And then I
Hmm.
also asked the people of the Tickety Talk to see where their pay is at now. And so Texas pre-COVID, they were at regular like GP practice, $14 an hour. Now they're seeing $18 to $22 an hour at GP and ER specialty 24 to 28. We had a end of life practice chime in that say that they start their technicians $28 to $30 an hour. They didn't specify like where they were at, but I thought that was really cool. We have a supervisor in Massachusetts that was at $37 an hour, and then she moved to like a rural part of Vermont, and now she makes $21 an hour. So that, good show of where pay scale is askew a little bit. And
Hmm.
then we have a veterinary assistant in North Carolina who's in CVT school now, um, making $15 an hour. So some places really good, some places really bad,
Yeah.
in my personal opinion. And this is where it kind of just shows how little growth there's been in the pay industry because, well, we'll start with kind of like what entry level techs are making before I jump the gun, and then what senior level techs are making. So entry level, which they consider 0 to 3 years, is 40 to 45,000. Mid career, 4 to 8 years, 45 to 55,000, and then senior level, 8 plus years, is 55 to 65,000. And we learned from our
Here.
I saw your face. Also, same, like where are they making this pay? And then also, we don't see that pay because few techs now are lasting that long from our previous videos, right? So there's your where. It doesn't really exist very much compared to the entry and the mid. But then this is where I get a little miffed. Um, so we're looking at less than a year experience is 37,000, right? 8 plus years. And this is probably more general because then it's like 43,000, 44,000. I would given that's more the norm than not.
Hmm.
Unless, and this is, I think this is more geared towards general practice than specialty in emergency because, someone on Reddit said that they work in Arizona, working in the ICU for 10 years. She makes $28 an hour, which is $58,000 a year. And again, rural Arkansas, 5 years experience, $18 an hour, $37,000 a year. But the thing is that there's not growth. This is very similar within $5,000 to $6,000 range over 20 years. And here's the best part. Someone they said, and I was like, okay, roughly techs are making $40,000 to $50,000 a year, rough estimate. That's what we were making 18, 20 years ago, roughly that range, with experience, not just starting out.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, with the cost of living, inflations, hashtag tariffs, and housing, groceries, everything, what should someone with a family be making, right? And we're talking able to make it without working 2 plus jobs for both husband, wife, kids, right?
Yeah.
So you're looking at $100,000 to $120,000 a year for minimal quality of life.
And that's for the household, right? That's like if there's
That's
a
the
if there's a
household.
like a two income household.
2 income household for a minimal quality of life.
Now, what region
That's
is that? Just
so
general,
that's
like general. Okay.
general, right? So one of the Facebook things that I'm in for vet tech jobs, and it's nationwide, had posted, she was like, I got a lot of beef from, and this is the manager that posted, and she was very honest. She's like, I got a lot of beef from, a general practice that refers to our clinic. This is a specialty clinic that was hiring someone with credentials, right? She was looking for someone that was both a CBT and critical care, right? So
Okay.
they wanted specific, and it was a salary position for 4 days, and they were going to pay 100 grand a year. And the vet straight up said to her, she didn't name the vet or anything like that. She was like, be careful paying techs the same as doctors. But here's also a thing. So, like, yes, I personally think we should be making close to 100 grand a year if you have all those credentials.
Agreed.
Turn of the page on that. Doctors should also be making more than 100 grand a year. You go to school for 8+ years, all of the
Mm-hmm.
training, you have to get paid what you're worth and what you would go to school for. I mean, you're $300,000 to $400,000 in debt in schooling alone, right?
Yeah.
That's not mortgage, that's not family, that's not nothing. No, that's not chump change. But here is the sticker. This is in California. You can't make it on 100 grand a year on your own in California.
No.
You can't.
No.
That's without, you have to like share housing or another income, something, but you can't make it on your own. So basically, the moral of the story is you can't make it on your own, or it's very difficult making it on your own. And like, it just makes me mad. Minimal quality of life. We deserve more than minimal quality of life.
Mm-hmm.
And we can't do it on a vet tech salary.
No, no. And for the things that we have to know and the things that we have to do, and the when I say things that we have to know, like multiple species, disease processes, anesthetic procedures, things like that, the compensation, I say package because in different places that you get a whole compensatory package in terms of your benefits and then your pay and things like that, but it's not sustainable for a good quality of life. And you wonder why your technicians and your assistants and things are so miserable because, and I
We
hate to
can't
play the
afford it.
devil's advocate here, you know what I mean? Because they go to work, they pour everything they have into their job, and when they go home, they're even more stressed out and pouring everything they have into, home life and maybe a second or third job just to make
Hmm.
ends meet. You give this
Yeah.
business everything that you have physically, mentally, emotionally, and you go home and you're still like, I don't know.
Yeah. Because I mean, groceries alone, right? So I don't know to our viewers if they have like an Aldi. Aldi is a place where you can go for low income type groceries, but they have pretty good quality for what they're able
Yeah,
to bring in, right? Sometimes it's a little iffy on the fruits and the veggies. You have to be careful on that. But like products
right.
itself, you can get groceries reasonable cost versus like a Publix in Florida. I feel rich walking into Publix if I can afford it. But, that's neither here nor there. But like, just 4 to 5 years ago, I could go to Aldi, have breakfast, lunch, and dinner for a week for 50 odd dollars a week, right? Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Is it the most healthiest options? Not all the time, but I could do it,
Yeah.
and now if I tried to do breakfast, lunch, and dinner there, mind you, this is more of a low income type setting, I can't even a little bit. Can't even
Yeah.
get close. I'm looking at $80 to $90. And that's just over the past couple years.
Yeah.
And that's just groceries. That's not gas. That's not, electric's going to be going up this year for everybody. Like
Childcare, insurance, everything.
everything everything's going to be going up. I have to throw in the hashtag big beautiful bill on that one because it's a fact that because of that, things are going to be going up. So, but what's not going up? Our pay.
Okay.
You know what I
Salaries.
mean? Like
Yeah.
the salaries aren't going to be reflecting the cost of living.
No. And two, I mean, with that, from a practice management perspective, with pay and things like that, like I love to advocate for my staff to be paid fairly to where they don't have to work second jobs, to where they don't have to worry about, finances and things like that. But with the industry right now, seeing a
Mhm.
dramatic decline in appointments, therefore a dramatic decline in revenue, hours are having to be cut for staff. You know what I mean? So like we're not even pulling in enough revenue to as an industry to be able to pay our employees
Correct.
effectively, not just for the pay, for to be able to, for them to keep their hours, even if they are being paid fairly. Because
Yeah.
everything, like you said, that big, beautiful bill with the inflation and things like that, like a carton of
And
eggs
it's
being
not,
like $9 or $10 and a gallon of milk being like $7, people, it's not sustainable. And two products, like veterinary products, going through the roof,
mhm.
so
Literally the
like
cost
it's,
of everything is going to be going up, has gone up, will go up.
yeah,
Nothing is going to be coming down,
no,
which means everybody is going to have to be cinching up their belt even more. What's the first thing that they're going to have to cut is, well, Allie Dog doesn't need her vaccines this year. That's
right,
$300 we don't have.
yep, yep, see it all the time, all the time,
Yep.
all of
Yep.
it. And like it's just it's crazy because like I said, with the volume of the appointments and everything going up, and with the cost, of products going up, the profit margin for those that want to keep their prices affordable for their clients to still be able to get those vaccines and those get those sick visits and injuries and things like that in there, the prices go up. We try to keep up with that but still keep it low, and therefore our profit margin tanks. It gets smaller. You know what I mean? Because we're trying to keep our
Correct.
services affordable for our clients, but we still got to pay our bills. We still got to pay our employees, and products going through the roof. Like
Hmm.
where does it end? What kind of a happy medium are you able to reach?
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, do I think entry level techs starting out at 40,000 should start at 80,000? No.
No.
We're not there. We're in the next 4 to 6 years we're not going to be there. This has never been a lucrative career to go into. And I say that going into my position where I'm at work, where I took a huge pay decrease. I took a $7 decrease with double the tax. So like my belt is a little tight and that's why I work all the time. So but like I get you know, I get this on a different level now and I'm not even in the industry. I wanted to get out of the industry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I wanted to get out. I needed the break. But like if you have 10 to 20 years experience and you're walking into a clinic and they're only going to offer you $45,000, that's a hit in the gut a little bit.
It is. It is. It is. Now, with that $45,000, now does that come with any kind of a benefit package? Because that too, like if you're gonna get hit with
Well, let's talk about
$45,000,
those. Don't get me started on those benefit packages because sure, you get scrubs. That's $100 a year.
yep,
But if you say like CE, you now have practices, and I don't know if this is what you do for yours. Most practices will be like, yes, I'll send you, but you have to pay for the hotel, you have to pay for food. Like, yes, I'll send you and I will pay for X, Y, and Z, but you're still gonna have to pay for X, Y, and Z. They ain't gonna be able to afford it. Every time I got sent to a conference, they paid a portion of it and I had to pay the rest. I didn't go to many conferences. I did all online CEs because I couldn't afford to actually go unless it was a drivable distance
yeah, it
from,
depends. It depends on the
Tampa
practice.
to Orlando and stuff like that.
Right, right. Like the practice that shall not be named did take care of, if we sent you, we took care of your accommodations and there were even meals included in that. But, my practice now will take care of travel expenditures. You have this bank of money to make work for, CEs and things like that. But that's more for our doctors. So in order for my staff to be able to have access to CE, I enrolled everybody in Vetfolio and we pay it every year. So they have the access to that and they can go on, at their own pace, and nobody can say, oh, well, you didn't offer me a CE package. Well, yeah, we did. You have it. You just don't have the travel benefits that go with it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like we had to cut something from the budget. So travel benefits have been cut, but you still have access to CE, all the CE you can take. You want to do a certification program that costs $300 or $400? Cool, bro. There you go.
Yeah.
But and then two, when I say benefit packages, I'm talking about like PTO, company sponsored, medical, dental, vision, employee assistance program, things like that. And if you're gonna offer somebody a $45,000 salary or a $35,000 salary, and you have no benefits to offer them whatsoever,
And that's out there. That's out
oh,
there
absolutely, my cousin's going
50%
through
of
it
the
right now.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't want to
It's
fault
out
her
there at
out.
least 50% of the time.
Yeah.
Because, and then one, they're going to be like, well, if I choose to go to this clinic because I think it's going to be a great fit for me, and yeah, it's going to be
Mm-hmm.
a little bit decrease in pay, I will not get benefits. Like, I will not get the health. I will not pay for the health. I'm not going to have an
Mm-hmm.
extra $75 taken out of my paycheck because that's, give or take where you're at. And the package that they have, you're looking at anywhere from $30 to $70 being taken out of your paycheck every 2 weeks.
Mine is 127.
Yeah. I work at a hospital and I get a lot taken out for my health insurance, and it doesn't cover a whole lot.
Yeah.
Then the state, if I had to go, I had to go to the emergency room the first year I was there because I was going just a little septic, and still had a $1,200 bill after insurance. So and that was for some fluids and IV medications, and that was it. And they had to lance some stuff and flush it out.
If you went to a vet, that'd have been your whole bill. All that. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Just saying. Just saying.
So
North
all the
Carolina
same
is
stuff
not a
that
fan
they
of me.
use, that we use, that they get to charge for like that, but we don't get to.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, have I seen listings recently in my neck of the woods in the $30 range in specialty?
Yeah.
But I still see listings for $16 to $18 an hour. For management, $55,000 an hour. I'm sorry, absolutely not. Managers that are required to be on call 24/7 at everybody's beck and call, never truly get a day off because let's face it, let's face it, you don't have free time. And if you do, it's an hour here, hour there. At $55,000 an hour, abso-fucking-lutely not.
And let's
No.
not forget about covering
No.
shifts for
Yep.
tech shifts, covering reception shifts, and especially if you're a manager that bounces between multiple clinics. But that's not. No, I once had a practice owner, love her to death. I'm not saying anything mean. Come at me with a $45,000 offer to be a manager.
I had a couple of people when I first moved out here, and everything was still veterinary based on my resume on Indeed. And, they were looking for management positions, and I was halfway entertaining the idea because I'm like, well, I don't want to be a tech anymore. Do I want to pursue management path? The answer is hell no. But this was when I was still doing it. And it was for $55,000-$60,000 a year. And I said, no offense, absolutely not. I think management should make $100K a year to do all of those things salaried, not hourly, because you're going to be putting in more than 40 hours a week. You're putting in 60, 70, 80 hours a week at times. And it just absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's an insult at $45,000 a year to be asked to be a management with all of those things to do and budgets to make, and it's just going to get me on a rant, and it's insulting if you're going for someone to be in charge and you're making the same as technicians.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no. It's just, I'll go on a 15-minute rant about that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and I'm not a greedy person. Oh, you're gonna pay me this because I can do this, that, or the other. You know what I mean? I'm honored for what my current boss thinks of me. Skills, things like that. And then in my last GP I was in, I was honored to be offered to make what I was making, you know what I mean, and have the schedule that I did. But $45,000 for a veterinary practice manager, for all, like you said, for everything you're responsible for, it is insulting. But again, you have those GPs that are paying their technicians right at minimum wage. You know what I mean? So, and they don't have a grasp on what they should be making, if that makes sense.
Go ahead. No, I made $20 a year for several years in a row with zero raise.
$20,000.
$20 an hour for several years.
Yeah. A year. I was like,
no. And this is before things really started to increase, but I made that amount with zero raise for a very long time with zero complaints. And here's why. Allie Dog had free procedures and blood work any given time. If she needed something done, she got it done. No questions asked. The only time there was ever a question of me paying something was for my Mastiff, and it was the melanoma vaccine, which at cost was at the time $1,200. It would have been ordered should I wanted to pursue that path, but he was 10 and a half, and I said no. Quality versus quantity was that conversation.
Right.
Our meetings were at restaurants, all paid for. We were sent all inclusive with a credit card to conferences, hotel, pay, no questions asked, get what you want, have X amount of drinks, X amount of food. Here's the credit card, sign my name. If you made long distance drives, use the credit card for gas. When COVID hit and groceries were being scavenged. We had the great toilet paper shortage of COVID. That doctor handed us the credit card during the middle of our shift because Publix down the road had been completely stocked. So she said, you, and you go to the grocery store. Here's my credit card. I want everybody to have groceries, everybody to have toilet paper, and get me X, Y, and Z. What you guys want, you guys get. I walked out on a $400 bill paid by the boss.
Am I thinking the boss is who it is?
Yes. So you didn't question your pay because all of those things were done for you.
Yeah.
You knew what was coming in on pay, you knew what was going out on pay, and what she was doing for her staff. She's like, yes, I can pay this much amount for you. If we work overtime, we can work overtime. If you don't, I will make sure you get at least 36 to 40 hours and I will do X, Y, and Z for you.
Yeah.
Done. No issues. Yeah. Never, like I would joke. Like you're always going to joke. Oh, you're going to have to give me a raise for this. But
yeah.
But all things considered, given what we were all going through, that was the only time I never pushed any way, shape, or form to get paid extra because X, Y, and Z was always done.
And that's something that's awesome because like being in a practice to where you're taken care of, to where you're respected, to where when things are actually good in the practice and revenue streaming in, you get raises, you get CE credits, you're taken care of. But when the revenue stream isn't coming in and they're still making steps to try and accommodate and take care of you and make sure that you can live your life, like taking care of your staff, for me, I offered to take a pay cut and go back down to part-time to take care of the staff. You know what I mean? But like my boss was like, no, I'll take a pay cut before any of you do.
Yeah. And then that's how that boss was, because we had to go to part-time hours.
Yeah.
I became the only full-time employee for a little bit, and then it was, I was more critical of my hours than she was, and I'm like, it's 30 hours, I have to leave. I was working from home for a little bit, answering all of this, and then she ended up having to sell the practice because she didn't want to put us all in a predicament to where also everybody had full-time job. You know what I mean? Like he made sure we were all covered, and obviously including herself. But I personally, and I'm gonna like change lanes because Texas had a huge increase in pay from what the person said on pre-COVID and post-COVID. Florida didn't see that, unless they're seeing it now. But like we didn't have that in Florida. No. And so like I was like, wow, that's really impressive that post-COVID they were able to do that. Florida said, nah.
Florida didn't say, hold my beer. They said, give me my beer. You know what I mean?
They said, listen, I know I gave you this beer. Take it back and I'm going to drink it in front of you because I'm thirstier.
Right. No, and like too, like the ranges down here in different regions are they're insane because like the Central Florida area, granted, it used to be more of a rural area, but there's technicians down there that have been doing this for ages, and they're taking on additional responsibilities in terms of office management or practice management or supervisory things like that, and they're making less than $20 an hour. Mm-hmm. And they've been doing this like majority of their life, right? So you have this area where you've got a range from say $13 to $17 an hour, and then you travel 2 hours west. And then we're offering $19 an hour to start. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? There's even GPs that are offering $24, $25, $26 an hour for technicians, not specialty, but like GP. So like there's such a broad range, like in just a small area. But like you said, yeah, we've not seen an increase in pay.
No, but like
anything.
Freaking, I Googled on ChatGPT to put, what's a 1-bedroom apartment, right? At $20 an hour, can anybody afford $1,300 to $1,600 a month for a 1-bedroom? There's a couple of cheaper areas, depending. Mind you, this is a Tampa area.
Yeah.
Like downtown is $3,000, but in There's a couple of places that are 1100, but let's face it, if you're in the 1100 area, you get a little gang action.
You in the hood though, like really,
You
really, really in the hood though.
you in the hood.
I speak
But
the language, so
still
I'd be all right with that.
little gang action going on. But like also, when I left Florida, I was paying 900, like 9 or 950 for a one bedroom, and it was decent. Just a basic one bedroom, nothing fancy. And then I move up here and it's like culture shock, but then also that area that I left promptly turned into what I'm seeing up here, which is generally the same range, roughly $1,300 to $1,500 for a one bedroom apartment. And where I'm going to be moving to, that's what they're facing is that. So like that's given now 3 states, that's going to be the general cost now of apartments is $1,500 a month, guesstimating, which isn't going to be survivable, is my point, in a roundabout way at $20 an hour
No,
for a one bedroom.
no,
If
no.
you're a single person like myself, you
Mm-hmm.
can't do it. You can't.
No, no.
And you throw in, I have a horse on top of it who
Yeah.
also has his own apartment.
Yep. Yep. And you can't have an apartment payment, a car payment, insurance payment, your horse's board, your horse's medical bills, your dog food, your cat food, your food. Like, it's not sustainable. Like, I pay $2,000 a month for a 2-bedroom apartment. Joyce, you know how many amenities I have?
None.
None.
Mm-hmm.
None.
Yep.
I don't have to pay pet rent because I have an ESA because I'm a little not wired right, but no amenities. Nothing. Not even a laundry room.
Do you have laundry in your unit? Hell no. I need laundry in
No.
the facility, at least.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't trekking to some skeevy laundromat at 2 o'clock in the afternoon thinking I'm gonna get raped in the parking lot.
Yeah, no. I go to a bougie one.
Okay.
I have rewards, everything, like, and I love them over there. Sometimes
Okay.
I drop my laundry off.
Oh, and then have them do it and just pick it up and it's all done. Yeah, that's nice. That's honestly, that's also worth its money.
Yeah, because I don't have time.
Mm-mm. Not have time to wait.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, so the moral of the story on this week's episode is we need to pay more, but the problem we're facing is we're not getting the clientele to pay us more. So nothing's going to change.
Hey, but what do we do, guys? Like, how do we change these things? So if there's any practice owners, or practice managers, anybody, that are watching these, like, and you're able to increase your clients' pay, your revenue streams have not been affected. Like, what are you guys doing? How are you doing that? What different things are you doing for your staff in the event that you're unable to provide raises to them? Do you look at maybe quarterly bonuses depending on the revenue, that you guys are able to generate? Do you offer them other attractive perks to be able to retain your technicians, to keep them from, going up the road or 2 counties away to where they can make $3, $4, $5, $6, $7 an hour? Because we just had an issue at not really our clinic, but a clinic that we're very close with, to where they were not adequately compensating a technician who had built himself up from the ground up, and he got a very lucrative offer to drive from Tampa down to Sarasota every day. That's how good that offer was. Why couldn't you do that for him in that practice? Why couldn't you take care of him? You know what I mean? So, like, how do we?
Well, and that's also the problem is that on a management standpoint, in that scenario, they're gonna be like, well, we'll just find someone for cheaper.
That is the mentality. You find these kids fresh out of high school, or oh my God, they volunteered with us, and you can pay them $15 an hour, but they're not contributing positively to your workflow. You're having to invest into teaching them, which is fine. That's what we're supposed to do in the veterinary world, right? We're supposed to give back. We're supposed to keep these kids going. We're supposed to give back to the veterinary community and bring them up for when we're gone, right? But like, when you can have that I can get somebody cheaper mentality, bro, you get what you pay for. You get what you pay for. And then you have the balls, excuse my language, to complain about their output.
Yeah.
You want to pay somebody
work ethic on everything.
$14 an hour. You're going to get $13 to $14 an hour worth of quality out of that employee. And then on the off chance that you get one of those employees who turn out to be a badass and keep them at $14 an hour like you're doing them a favor, that's uncalled for. I'm going to go off on a rant on that. I'll probably get banned from veterinary medicine, but seriously. You got to give
It's
these
true.
people opportunities to grow financially, professionally. You know what I mean? They can't just stagnate at pennies on the dollar, and you expect them to go above and beyond for you. What are you
Yeah.
doing for them?
Yep.
Order them pizza once a quarter? Get the fuck out of here.
Pizza can only take us so far. Pizza parties.
I mean, you can
Do I
ask my.
love pizza? You're talking to somebody that loves pizza. In fact, after I was door dashing last night, I bought myself a very expensive pizza. But after a while, it becomes insulting.
It does. Like, I don't want pizza, bruh. I don't.
I want money in my pocket so I can buy my own pizza.
Exactly. Take what you spent on that pizza and divvy it up and give it to the staff. It may not be much, but they'll
Nope.
appreciate it.
Well, and I was gonna say, I was like, if I was working my ass off for a clinic and the owner or practice manager or whatever said, "Here's $20, cash, not
Mm-hmm.
taxed," I'd be like, "Sweet, that's going in the gas tank. That's going at the grocery store. I'm gonna go buy me a little tasty treat or a tasty
Yep.
drink."
Yep.
Cool. It's like it was a
And
busy day today. Here's $20.
yeah, and I have a stack of gift cards I keep in the safe in the office, and it's like for like caught doing good kind of stuff. We have this one assistant, dude. I love this guy. Was outside power washing in the heat, bro, dripping sweat, all kind of stuff. And I went out there. I'm like, bro, I'm taking care of your lunch today. And I gave him a gift card to go to Chick-fil-A. You'd have thought I gave that man $100 bonus.
Mm-hmm.
And he tried to give it back. He's like, you don't have to do that. It's my job. No, your job is to come in here and work rooms and triage patients and whatnot, not be out here in the 103-degree heat, pressure washing the building. Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate you for that. You know what I mean?
It is. It's like, I mean, it's the economy is hard on everybody.
Yeah.
What are the little things that you can do for your staff
Mm-hmm.
to make them feel valued and understand that, yeah, you may be worth $50,000, $60,000 a year, 70,000. I can pay you $45,000, $50,000, but I'm going to do X, Y, and Z for you. It doesn't have
Exactly.
to be a lot. It doesn't. It doesn't have to be a lot. There's things that you can do tax write-offs on for your clinic for your staff.
Yep.
Those are out there. It's more work that you then have to pay your accountant to do, but you know what? Is it worth it?
Absolutely. Take care of your staff. Those are your babies. You need to take care of them. That's people in the corporate world or, hardcore practice managers or practice owners or, no, those are my employees. No, bro, those are your babies. They are in your care and it is your job to take care of them. It's your job to make sure that they can afford life because they are pouring everything they have into you. And if they're not, then then they don't want a
Well, I'm gonna
raise.
say, I was like, they're pouring their blood, sweat, and tears
Yeah.
into the person that's signing their paychecks, blood, sweat, and tears,
Bring
right?
them up with you. Bring them up with you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a very big proponent in that. Like you couldn't do the job you do every day without your support staff. You can't. There are some conceited veterinarians, but like, I can do it all. I'll be the best tech you ever seen. But listen, you cannot run a clinic without your support staff. Bring them up with you because I promise you, when you bring them up with you, they're going to have so much more respect, compassion, dedication, and loyalty to you that they're going to bust their ass for you because you bust your ass for them. It's a circle. You know what I mean? Like it's a mutually beneficial relationship and you take care of your staff, they're going to take damn good care of you. Sorry. I'm very passionate about that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and we all love Amber's rants because they're passion filled and I love it.
Yeah, because I care about my staff, man. Like those are my babies, bro. You don't let a client step to one of them. I've fired new clients before they've even come in the building just because I didn't like how they talked to my staff on the phone. Like we can't meet your needs here. No. Anywho, sorry about that.
But yeah, guys, thank you for joining on this week's episode.
Shut up,
Amber. But no, when I was pulling the numbers over the past 20 years, I got sad and discouraged for the career and the path that it took and where it's at now and where it's projected to go, which is a whole lot of nowhere, but everything else is going up. So yeah, I wanted it to be discussed. And if you guys want to, comment, share, like, subscribe, something, help us, please.
Yes, please. Yes. But one, like, in closing, as a practice manager, I encourage you to stand up for yourself.
Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to circle. You still have to advocate for yourself as well.
Fight for what you believe you are worth. Okay, but don't get a big head. And if you don't do shit for the practice, oh my God, I deserve this. No, if you genuinely pour blood, sweat, and tears into your practice, or, you are consistently obtaining more knowledge and skills and abilities and things like that. Fight for yourself. Do not settle. If you are somewhere who does not see or value your worth, find somewhere that does. Your job, you spend a majority of your time at work. You need to feel
Yep.
valued. You need to feel important. You know what I mean? You need to be compensated for the work that you do. Again, if you are a shit employee, then you don't need to be compensated for what you do. But if you are a good employee and you put everything you have into your job every day, you are productive, you are talking to clients about different products and procedures and things like that, not upselling, but educating your clients on what they need for their pets, then you deserve to be compensated appropriately, and don't settle for anything less. Don't fight. Shark Tank your POs, your PMs, things like that. Tell them why you feel like you deserve the raise that you are asking for. And if they don't at least meet you in the middle somewhere, it's time to go. It's time to find somebody who is going to value you for what you bring to the table. That's all I
Because
got
as
to
we
say.
all know, well, because
Yep.
like, I mean, there's jobs everywhere,
Yep. Yep.
so if you
Find
bring
your
value to
unicorn
the
clinic,
table.
my guy. Yep. I feel better now.
Yeah, and this is why we love Amber.
Don't mess with me about my staff.
All right, guys, we'll see you next week. Bye.